Hey guys, I hope you're all doing well. I would like to share some thoughts with you today, and I would like to do that by telling you a few stories. I have a cup of tea with me here. I hope you don't mind if I take a few sips from it. You might want to go get a drink too. Story number one. A few weeks ago, I needed furniture for this new studio space that I've moved into, and I went online to look at a store that I've shopped at many times before. It's a very big furniture company, and they have very big stores, and they have many thousands of products. And I won't say what the name of the company is, but I'm sure many of you can probably even guess which company it is. And so one morning I went to drive out to this place, and it was early in the morning, and the store wasn't open yet, so I thought I would stop in at a coffee shop to grab a cup of coffee until the store opened. And right when I was just about at the coffee shop, I saw another furniture store that I had not really noticed before, even though I'm pretty sure I've driven past it many times. And as it turns out, this is a small family-owned company. They've been around for many decades, but I had never seen them before. So I went to the coffee shop, got my coffee, and then when this store opened, I just walked over there. And I went in there, and it was a small store, so it didn't take me long to look at most of the things in the store. And someone came over and asked me if they could help me, and I had a bit of a chat with them, just trying to find out a little bit about the company and how things might work if I wanted to place an order. And I was spending most of my time just sitting down, trying out some of the furniture, and just sort of thinking about how some of the stuff might feel in the space. And throughout all of this, I was thinking I should probably go over to the store that I was originally going to go to, and it was only a few minutes walk down the road. And I was thinking, well, if I go over there, I know they're going to have a greater selection and the prices might be better. But I really didn't want to go through the experience. Something inside me was saying, yeah, you could do that, but you know what the experience is going to be like, and what it felt to me was that the experience wasn't going to be so enjoyable, and that there was going to be a lot of friction involved in the buying experience, because I would have to go through the whole store, and the way they have the whole store laid out, you've got to sort of go through the entrance, and then make your way through all the different places, different departments, and then until you get to the exit. And then finding the stuff in the warehouse is a bit of a chore, and then if you get everything and you get it back to your place, then you've got to assemble it all, because most of this stuff takes a lot of assembly. So ultimately, I did not go to the store that I was originally intending to go to, and I left this small furniture store, and I went to another one of their stores. Turns out that there are 4 or 5 of their stores in my hometown. And I went to another store just to see what else they might have on the floor there that wasn't in the store that I had just been in. And I was there for a short time, and then I went back to my studio, and a couple of days later I ended up placing an order online. And when I was on their website looking at stuff, browsing through the products, I came across comments from other people who had said that they had positive buying experiences, and that it was a refreshing thing for them to buy from this small company and not from the large furniture store. It was just a nice experience, and ultimately that has been the same that I experienced. My experience has been really, really good throughout the whole process, through being in the store, through browsing on their website, through meeting the guys who brought the stuff for the delivery and helping them get it into the studio. And that experience is something that I really valued, even though there was a greater selection available at the big furniture store, and I probably could have even saved some money if I had purchased there. So that's the first story. The second story is that for the last few months, I've been working on a trip, planning a trip that I will be taking in the middle of the year to Africa. and I'll be there for a month or two. And the reason I'm going is I'm doing recon for some workshops that I'm putting together. I contacted one place towards the end of last year and expressed interest in visiting them, and they replied back and told me that they didn't deal with clients directly and I'd have to work through one of their agents. Okay, they said they would pass the inquiry on to one of their agents. A few weeks later I hadn't heard anything, so I asked them what was going on. They said that they would check what was happening, and 2 months later I still hadn't heard anything. Meanwhile, I had so many good experiences with many places that I had booked with directly, and I had a lot of my trip already planned out. So I contacted these people and I said, what's going on? And I also said, I can't believe this is how you guys do business. I'm interested in coming not only as a client, as a full paying client, but also if it goes well, I might want to bring back some other people. And eventually, so they followed up again, and eventually someone did contact me, an agent did contact me, and they did apologize because they saw from the email chain how prolonged the whole thing had been. So I let them know what I was interested in, and I still haven't heard back from them. And it's been a little while now. And I'm laughing about it, but it's actually very, very sad. And so the thing is that even if they get back to me now, I'm not very motivated from the experience that I've had so far to give them my business or to do business with them. The third story I want to share with you is, many of you may know that I run a jazz orchestra here in my hometown. I've done that for about 15 years, and we have a lot of fun performing the music, and our audiences have a lot of fun, and all our concerts sell out. And there's always been an opportunity for us to take it to the next level and play in bigger venues and bring in more audiences, and that's something that we've resisted because what we have now is such a great experience. And in fact, at the end of last season, I even mentioned to the audience at the last concert of the season, I said, well, we're always selling everything out, and we might move to a bigger venue. And immediately, I could hear it in the room, and also when I talked to some people after the concert, people were concerned about that because the room that we play in, the venue that we play in, is a very intimate venue. And there's a great vibe that's in the room as a result of that intimacy, and it really translates into the performance on stage and the way in which we engage with the audience, and it's so much a part of that experience. And if we were to move to a bigger venue, we would really lose a lot of that. And what we ended up doing for this season is we're doing multiple performances of the programs, but in the same small venue. So why am I telling you all of this? So there's three things that I want you to think about. One is that bigger is not necessarily better. We live in a world where people seem so compelled to grow everything to a huge size. And often when you do that, at some point something suffers, and often the thing that suffers is quality. And in many cases, quality is more important than quantity. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that the distance from the creator or the producer or the artist or the photographer to the customer or the client or the audience is so important. When that distance becomes too great, you lose something in the translation, and that thing is often, the thing that you often lose is quality. And the third thing, and ultimately this is really what this discussion is all about, is that as consumers, we don't just buy products and services. We go through a whole experience. And as producers, as creators, as artists, as photographers, what we're producing is not just a product or a service, not just an image, but it's a whole experience. And so partially also the reason I'm making this video is that someone had posted a comment on the last video, and thank you, Mark, for your comment, asking about the challenges of being a professional photographer and selling prints, given the world that we live in today, which is a world where everything is increasingly commoditized, and photography certainly is one of those things. Every day there are thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of images that are posted. And so how can you make a living from this? How can you reach your audience? So what I hope as wildlife photographers, I hope that you will think about these things, the quality, the distance to your audience, and creating experience. And in the following ways: when you go out and you are taking your images, I hope that you will aim for awesome, amazing shots and focus on that and have that as your goal. And ultimately, if you are out, say, taking photos of a bear, one amazing photo of that bear is worth way more than 20 average photos of that bear. Now, of course, often to get that amazing photo, we may have to shoot many not so amazing photos, but ultimately you choose which images you're going to keep and which images you're going to share. And I hope that when you're sharing your work, regardless of whether you're selling it or sharing it on social media, or if you're just showing it to people on your phone, that you'll show people your best work and focus on quality and not quantity. It's not so important how much you post or how much you share, but the quality of what you share. And the second thing is that when you are sharing your images, again, regardless of whether you're printing images and selling the prints, or whether or not you're sharing them digitally, sharing them along with something that creates an experience, such as a story and some text around it that gives it some context, that's really so important. Anything that you can do to create a closer connection with your audience will really help. And ultimately, experiences are what people will remember, whether they're good experiences or bad experiences. It's not just the product or not just the service. And I can tell you, for me, certainly even with YouTube, I really don't care how many subscribers I have on my channel. I'm much more interested in the engagement that I have with you guys, and the same is true with anything else that I do, whether it's in photography or any other discipline or domain. I'm really much more interested in quality. That's something that I care about a lot, and ultimately I think people care about. Now, of course, there are some people who only care about volume and about the cheapest price and so forth, and there are times when that does matter more to people than quality and the overall experience. But if you want to stand out, if you want to be different to others, the thing that is highly commoditized, that's not the thing that you can really compete on. There are thousands of images of bears or foxes or anything else out there, but it's not just that image that you are putting out there, it's everything else. And I want you guys to be successful as wildlife photographers, regardless of whether you're doing it as a profession or not, because the images that you are taking and sharing in whatever way that you share them, those images have the potential to bring people joy and to move people, to help them understand, for example, in many cases, that the wildlife is threatened and that we really need to do things to help the wildlife and to help save species. So I hope that you'll keep some of these things in mind, and I would love to hear your thoughts, whether they're thoughts as a consumer or as a producer, as an artist, as a photographer. If you have any questions or comments, please post them below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and of course, subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.